One, we're live. All right. Wait, there's been an error. 1 second. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Yarek, who buys houses, and I have here a really interesting individual by the name of Alex Kennedy. He is going to be talking to us how to analyze deals and pretty much make offers sight unseen. What does that mean? Well, we'll get into it and explain to you guys. Make sure that you guys ask questions. So Alex, how you been? How's everything? How's COVID been treating you? Let's wait around to see if more people jump on and let's just kind of see what have you been up to, sir, this 2020, and how's this 2020 been treating you?
Right. Well, I gotta say, well, thank you for putting this, helping put this together, and it's just awesome that you guys are doing this, and it's a new thing, it's a new way of doing it, right? And so we're experimenting here, and I'm sure it'll go well.
Yeah.
And I've been doing great. I mean, luckily, health is first and foremost, right? So I've been very lucky, very fortunate. My family and I, we've been very, very fortunate. And then business-wise, in the beginning, it was the beginning of the whole pandemic. It was sort of, people were like, all right, what do we do? What's going on? We did have some buyers back out of contracts, but some buyers closed. It was just, it was a mix of emotions between investors and buyers and what was going on in the market. And I think all of a sudden now we came out of this, where we're coming out of it, but to a large extent we've come out a lot, in a sense where that businesses are now doing business almost as back to usual. So some business, right? And certainly the real estate business has been, I mean, it's on fire right now because of the demand, buyers moving in from New York, right? People wanting more space. And so we just happen to be on the outskirts of one of the greatest cities and one of the largest cities, New York City and Philadelphia. So now you got people from Philadelphia and New York City wanting the suburbs, right? So, if you have a property on the market right now, if you're a rehabber or even if you're a wholesaler, you're seeing the effects of that and the benefits of that with multiple offers and that sort of thing. So I just think it's going on.
I agree with you. Yeah, the times have changed. It's a very interesting time we live in. Something that nobody, I think, has predicted or seen it happening in a way where it is happening right now. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. I actually have a property of my own that should be hitting the market soon. I literally can't wait to get it out because I don't know what's going to happen in a couple of months, right? Winter's about to happen, elections, we have next year around the corner. The holidays, people are shopping, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody really wants to go see houses in the winter. It's cold, it's icy, it's muddy, it's slushy. So yeah, it's I'm just talking to another investor who has 7 properties going on, 7 projects going on. He's like, I'm almost finished renovating. I'm in the middle of renovating, and I have not started my renovation. I'm just gonna throw them out in the market. It's like, I need to get out as quick as possible. So it's an interesting, point. Everybody has their own point of view. Where everybody's kind of has a magic glass that they're trying to rub and figure out what's happening in the future. But at the end of the day, we're all predicting. We're all just kind of keeping our actions in place and moving forward. So it's super exciting to be a part of this chapter in everybody's life. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I get it. Right now, it's like, even if you're starting a renovation, you're thinking about just wholesaling it now. Maybe not. Everybody has a different strategy, different play on it. But you're right. Right now, it's super, super hot. Is it going to be like this in November, December? It'll probably slow down a little bit, perhaps. Some people are talking about a pretty strong correction coming very soon. Who knows? But right now, it's like we're at the height right now. I don't know if we're at the peak, but like we're close to it. So who knows? Maybe it just keeps going for another year or two. Let's see. I mean, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, to me, it's any market, any economy. There's money to be made. There's definitely money to be made. It's just I hope people don't get distracted or think it's not the right time. The time is to always educate and always take action. Right? It can be from wholesaling to whatever it is, and you yourself, Alex Kennedy, will be talking about how to analyze deals, which is super important, right? Because we can marry the numbers, but you can never marry the deal itself. So give me one sec before to go live. I just want to make sure we're going live. All right, so for those who are just tuning in, we are in a couple of minutes we'll start their presentation. Alex Kennedy will tell us about him and move forward. So for now, we're just getting everything aligned, waiting for everybody to jump on.
All right, that's fine. And I think it's it's being recorded, right? Let me see if I can.
It is being recorded, but I'm saying, yeah, it is being recorded. I'm just trying to figure out. It doesn't seem an error record. Wait a minute, then try again. All right.
Because then we could just jump right into it, and then
Yeah.
others will be able to catch the recording anyway. So.
Perfect. Yeah. So again, hi everyone. My name is Yarek. I have here for you guys is Alex Kennedy, who is going to be talking about how to analyze deals and how to make offers sight unseen. What does that mean, and so forth. Alex, can you please tell us, for those who might not know you, who you are, where you started, how long ago you started, what is your niche, what do you specialize in, what are you doing right now, what you did before, and what are you going to be doing moving forward, after COVID or during COVID, and so forth. Alex, go ahead and.
That's a lot, right? That's a lot, but I'll keep it concise.
Keep it short. Keep it sweet.
Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2009. I did my first, bought one of these late night infomercial courses, how to flip houses, no money, no credit. And at the time, that was my resume, right? So I bought the course, and it took me about 6 months to do my first deal, and I just started making offers, a lot of offers, and then finally got one accepted. I did one. I made like $6,000 as a wholesale fee, and I quit my job. Right now, because I knew I could do it again, I can rinse and repeat that process. But I'm not saying everybody should do that.
Yeah.
It just happened to work out for me. And then the first year I flipped about 12 houses, and the next year I think it was 18 or 20 houses, and then it was more and more and more. Because I started to bring people in and sort of systematize it so that I wasn't necessarily doing absolutely every aspect of the transaction, right? And now I'm very fortunate to have added different aspects like the brokerage model to it as well. And we'll go into it. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And so I've been I think I'm primarily known as being the statewide wholesaler, so to speak, or because most wholesalers, and then that's fine, but they stay local, right, within maybe 1 or 2 counties, and we cover the whole state. We're talking, we've done 5, 10 plus deals in Atlantic City, and 10 plus deals in Sussex, Vernon, maybe 10 minutes to the border of New York State, and then certainly everything in between, because we figure that New Jersey is a very small state, and I'm centrally located. So 2 hours south, I'm in Delaware. 2 hours north, I'm in New York. Not even 2 hours north, but yeah, I guess depending on how far you go, right?
Right.
And I realized early on that, especially wholesaling, that you don't necessarily have to go see the property. You can do a lot of the analyzing on your computer, and I can show you how. That's what we're going to be talking about, how to do that here. So 2 hours south, 2 hours north, being centrally. Now, even if you're further North Jersey, again, if you don't have to see the property, then you don't necessarily. Then it's fine to go into a market like South Jersey or the northern tip of New Jersey, because the numbers are the same, essentially, where the data is accessible to us. So the MLS data, which is really the data, the core data, the most important data that we want to use in analyzing, coming up with the ARV, or most importantly, and with Google Street View now, we can pan and we can look at, say, all right, well, there's a garage, the reason this house is so cheap is because there's a tire shop and there's drills going on. It's super loud, or there's a train track running behind the house.
Or through it.
Yeah, to avoid, right? And so with Google,
and it's funny you say, so the Google, you can also look at the age, right? You can see 2008, 2009. You can actually switch over and see the views and how to see the street has formed over the years, right? Which trend is going to.
Yeah, you can see, and then obviously you want to look at the latest, right? The latest year possible, because that's going to be the closest to what's actually happening on that street and with that property. Right. So it's very, very helpful. And so every once in a while you have a bus go by the camera and you can't see the house, and you're trying to go down the little street a little bit more to see it from the side. But that's cool, because you can go down the side and you can see, you're going to try and see all sides of the property, right? What's going on.
Satellite view and etc. So yeah, definitely this technology is there for us. It's really up to us to use it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
When was the first? When did you start in real estate? When did you begin? What year did you start off?
What year did I start in real estate?
Yeah.
Well, I guess my real estate career, I guess, started. Wow, I mean, completed my first deal in 2010. I formed my LLC in 2009, and I closed my first deal. I think it was March 15, 2010. And I don't remember any other closing date but that one.
Yeah, okay.
Other than maybe the ones we just closed, like this week or whatever, last week.
So you've been in business for some time.
What's that?
You've been in business for some time.
Oh yeah. I guess about 11 years now.
There you go. Over a decade of experience. You're about to share with everybody else.
Full time. I haven't had any other job. Since I did my first deal, I quit my job literally, and this is what I've been doing full time for about 11 years or so.
Congrats. Yeah, it's not for everybody, but you did it. Yeah, go for it. And again, there's gonna be a lot of newbies that would love to hear, how do you start and how do you do certain things, and would love to hear from you. And I know you have some tools you want to share with us, so you want to go ahead and jump into that.
Absolutely. And the whole purpose here is really going to be to eliminate the fears that one may have in any part of the process. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to leave if you have a question, if you want to post it in the comment section, I may answer it right away, or I may just leave it towards the end, depending on the question. But either way, we'll cover it. I think we're going to leave, maybe 10, 15 minutes or so after the session to answer any questions that I haven't answered during the presentation.
Yep.
So just so if you're to the type that you either write it down or post it in the comment section, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, please ask questions, because we're here. Alex is here specifically to answer it for you, and we'd love to. Whatever question you might have, most likely another person has. So there's no silly question, no dumb question. Just go ahead and answer. Ask it. If Alex doesn't get around to it, you can always reach out to Alex. Alex, how would people be able to get in touch with you?
Right. I'll actually leave. What I'll do is, for one, is holderflip.com. You can see it next to my name here. If you go on there, what that's going to do is that's going to add you to my buyers list, my cash buyers list for wholesale properties. And right now, we're actually sending out more wholesale properties than ever before, despite it seeming like the inventory is low, which it is lower. But we've just shifted our model to where we're able to capture more properties, more wholesale properties. So if you go on to holderflip.com, it's going to take you to a squeeze page where it's going to ask you for a name and email, and then just hit submit, and then you're going to see the list of properties immediately thereafter. And right now, that's our wholesale page, because we have two ways of doing business. We're either getting stuff under contract and either wholesaling it, meaning we're either signing or double closing that deal, or we are actually sending properties that are on the market and where the asking price is already attractive, right? Or where you may want to make an offer slightly below asking price, but it's where your offer would still be a respectable and well-received offer. So right now we're literally sending out 7 to 10 new properties every single day. And that's only going to increase because right now we're only covering the southern half of the state as far as that model goes, where we're sending active listings. But in the next coming weeks, we're going to do the rest of the state. So it'll probably double to probably 15 to 20 new properties every single day, because I've created an algorithm that basically sifts through thousands and thousands and thousands of properties and then presents to us maybe the top 10 or 20 every single day. And we basically hand deliver them to you. And you can, if you go on to holderflip.com, that's how you can receive them. So what I'm going to show you today is how to analyze and how to run the numbers, run some comps, and run ARVs really quickly, and then even repair values, and then how to basically set it up where a virtual assistant can do it for you. Right. So the idea is that you learn how to do it yourself. I mean, I certainly, in the beginning, I was a one-man show. Right. I mean, right now we are, we're 23, right, including all the agents that are involved. But we, in the beginning, it's good. I think it's good to know the process and understand what's going to happen, and then quickly bring in people to like virtual assistants, where I'll show you how to find virtual assistants here for as low as $1.25 an hour.
Wow.
Our highest paid virtual assistant is paid $4.30 an hour, and
Wow.
they're excellent, right? They're excellent. By the way, and you will say, and these are, it may seem extremely low as far as a pay rate for us here because we're in the United States, but we're talking about hiring people in other parts of the world where the exchange rate is so different that, I mean, we're talking about a difference of a 10x, right? So someone making so if we're paying somebody $4.30 an hour here, it's the equivalent of them receiving $43 an hour.
Right.
Right. So it's very fair, right? Very fair. And they're happy to do it. And there are a lot of people that'll apply when you post a job or a task. And so we'll get into briefly on how to find those people.
Awesome.
I think that'll be
so if anybody goes into holdorflip.com, once they submit their information, they're automatically added to your buyers list. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah, as of right now, it's free. It's absolutely free. You can jump on there.
Here you go, guys. Make sure you jump on and make sure you connect.
Yeah, you'll automatically start receiving, because I'm going to show you kind of what we do. But if you jump onto holderflip.com, we're just going to basically do it all for you and then just hand deliver those properties for you.
All right, so let's just go ahead and jump into your topic. And so again, guys, everybody, welcome. Who's joining in right now? So today's topic right now, we're going to be talking about how to analyze and deals and how to make offers sight unseen. Alex, take it away.
Yeah, and I've actually adjusted it a little bit and I think that'll be favorable to everybody watching here, where it's basically secrets to having virtual assistants analyze properties and secrets to how they can make offers for you so that they get accepted, right? We're gonna go over here how to submit an offer that's a tight offer where it's well received by the seller and the listing agent, right? Because you want to impress the listing agent with your offer as well, and not piecemeal things. And you want to send them all the documentation up front. So in this segment, we're going to learn basically that, the secrets of doing that efficiently and very quickly, so that your offers get accepted and so that you can submit a significant number of offers, because, and I'll show you how to eliminate some of the fears of submitting offers, right? And then mainly the number one way to eliminate the fear is to have, if you're working directly with the seller, is going to be having a good out clause, right? And by the way, I'm going to have the most impressive out clause I have ever heard. I heard it about, I guess it was almost about 10 years ago. So I still haven't heard a more impressive out clause if you're working with a seller privately, right? Because if you're going with the bank, you sort of got to stick with their contract. But and I'll share it at the end. It's very powerful, extremely powerful, and it basically allows you to back out of a contract for any reason, right? All the way to up until the closing table, you can back out.
Wow. Okay.
And not that, and you want to use that cautiously, right? Because you don't want to abuse that power. It's a lot of power that it gives you because in that transaction. But you want to be respectful of the seller, and by making an offer that's hopefully low enough, and so that you don't have to go back and have to renegotiate the deal or not close on the deal, and use that. You don't want to use that clause if at all possible, but nice to have it there in case you do need it, so you're not bound by a contract and you're not obligated, and now you're looking into a different position, right?
Your earnest money and so on. Alex, yeah, it sounds about right, because there's a lot of moving parts in any deal, right? From especially New Jersey, or from your oil tanks and so forth. So all these things do come up. So sometimes you do need ways to get out of the contract in a way where you both, even the seller and buyer, agree to it, but those flows for you help out and actually gives you some kind of peace.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing those information. That's really, really important, especially for the new guys who are watching and want to get into the business and figuring out how do they do it, right? What do I need? How do I start? I'm scared. What can I prevent from losing, right? Because Warren Buffett said, rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two is follow rule number one. So there you go, Alex. Let's go ahead and share your gems with us.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and try and screen share here so you get a snapshot of what I'm looking at. And I think it'll be easier for us to just talk about this and go over some of the numbers.
All right. I'll go ahead and add that in.
All right. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe you can zoom in just to see a little closer. But
Okay. Yeah, I can try and do that. Okay.
all right.
Is that a little bit better? Let
So
me
what are
see
we
how.
looking at right now?
All right. So basically, what we're looking at is this is a subject property that we were interested in purchasing, and so we're figuring out the after repair value, right? And so what we did is we pulled up comps. Normally, when we pull up comps, you want to go maybe a half a mile radius from the subject property, and you want to see everything that is sold or is pending going back 365 days, right? Normally. So that should give you enough data to where you at least you want to have at least, I would say 10, 15 comps pop up. And then if you're doing a half mile radius and maybe only 2 or 3 properties pop up, then maybe you're in a more rural area and then just extend the radius to maybe a mile or even in some cases 2 miles. So you're able to capture at least 10, 15 comps. So this first listing that we're looking at here is the subject property that we're analyzing. And so there's all this information in a listing, but there's very few information. There's very little information that we actually need. And so it's important for us to quickly analyze a property because we want to make a lot of offers. I'll show you what pieces of information are important. Okay. So starting here is going to be the lot size. So we want to study our property to sort of get an idea of what it is in terms of square footage, right? So it's 1248, which by the way, a lot of times the square footage is not going to be available, like in this case. So what we want to do is just go into the tax records. Just Google and New Jersey tax records, and you can pull up the tax records for any property in New Jersey. And the tax records does, in most cases, I mean, it's very rare that it doesn't have the square footage. And then also, it also has the lot size. So those are important pieces of information. The year built is also important, right? That's not circled here, but it is an important piece of information. And then also the tax assessed value, right? And this is the information that we're going to use to come up with the after repair value and relatively quickly. And so we want to make sure. So we notice here that the subject property was the tax assessed value is 2017. So that means that we want to check every other comp and make sure it's a 2017. So the tax record actually starts, I think it gives you about 4, 5, 6 years back, whatever it is. But we want to make sure that we're using the same tax assessed year because it can change from year to year. So in this case, it gave us the listing gave us a 2016, I believe. That's what it looks like. It was crossed out, but I think it was a 2016 tax assessed value. However, we wanted 2017, so we noted here, okay, we had to make the change that we pulled up the 2017, so we're comparing apples to apples.
Yep.
Right. And so, all right. So let's see here. So the first way we want to compare is, let's just say the first listing here. Okay. So what we want to keep in mind is property size, the interior square footage and the lot size. So 1248, okay, about a quarter of an acre. So really a true comp is going to be maybe anywhere between 1,000 square feet to maybe 1,500 square feet is kind of the sweet spot, right? Anything that's lower than that's going to throw the numbers off because the price per square foot on a smaller home is going to be much higher, and then a price on a much bigger home is going to be, on average, need to be lower. So we want to look at everything and then just compare. And we'll see here the very first property, the square footage is 616 square feet. It's much smaller. And so we got a price per square foot of $372.
Okay.
And so this is the sold price here, the SP sold price. And then, so basically if, we take the 229,000 divided by 616, we're going to get a price per square foot of 372. Lot size, it's a little bit smaller, but I don't know that I necessarily apply this $372 a square foot as an after repair value to our subject property, only because the difference in size, right? It probably is going to be a lower price per square foot. And so the reason we pull up the tax assessed value is to see what the relationship was between the actual sold price and the total tax assessed value for that year. Meaning the building assessment, right, of $74,500 plus the land assessment. We want to factor in both, not just one or the other, but the total. And so as you see here, the property actually sold for $12,000 more. That's a secondary way. So there are basically two ways to come up with the ARV. Is we're going to find out, all right, well, what's the average price per square foot that stuff is selling for? And then also, what's the average difference between tax assessed value? And the interesting thing is that Zillow actually just started doing this difference between a tax assessed value. We've been doing it for probably, I think we've been doing it for about 7 or 8 years. Zillow just added that feature, which is awesome because it's there. It's there. They do it for you, right? But over here, this is it's a nice way of also figuring out. It's another checkpoint of figuring out the after repair value.
Alex, I had a question for you. Sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
You mentioned Zillow, right?
Yeah.
Zillow also has estimated, after repair value, estimated, price that property should be valued at. How do you feel about it? What do you think of it, and so forth? Like, what is Zillow? How do you feel about Zillow's estimates?
Yeah, Zillow's estimates, I would say they're accurate probably 80% of the time, right? But that's still not 100%, right? Or close to it. So when we're looking to buy a property to rehab it, or even so to make an offer, we're using the MLS as data because we want that extra 20% of accuracy.
And what is MLS?
I'm sorry, the multiple listing service, right? Multiple listing service. And by the way, it says multiple listing service. It's basically the market of listed properties in the entire state, or I think there are 5 or 6 multiple listing services in New Jersey. They cover different sections, different areas. But for you to gain access to the MLS, it's not difficult, and you can get access even though you're not licensed. And the way you can do it, does anybody want to know how to? Does anybody know?
We do, yes.
The way to gain access so that you're seeing all that data is to link up with an agent who is licensed, because every agent is allowed to have a non-licensed person login information for the MLS. So you can help them out. You can pay their MLS dues. Maybe it's between $150 $200 a year. Maybe you paid for them. They give you access, and you're quote unquote their assistant who has a login to that information. Well, you don't necessarily have to be there. You really just want access to the MLS so that you can go in there and instead of asking, by the way, we never ask an agent, what do you think the ARV is here? Like, we're going to come up with that on our own, right? I mean, we may ask that as a test question to see, do they know what they're talking about? But most agents don't necessarily do this much in-depth work. I mean, we're into coming up with an after repair value. They're just getting a sense of, all right, well, this home sold for that, so it's got to be kind of around here. We're going to get
for a recap. You mentioned something really strong, and what Alex just said is actually true. I also have an assistant account in Philadelphia, and it does work. I do have access to MLS. To get access to MLS, you either got to be an agent or a broker. So go ahead and partner up with a broker who can get you access to an assistant account. An assistant account gives you access to MLS, which will give you the entire data that right now Alex was showing us. And Alex, if you want to, I can go back to your share screen, or continue to talk on whichever you want to go. But yeah, so that is a very strong tool. You must have it if you want to be successful in real estate. I strongly believe in it. Zestimate is still an estimate, and you want to have more tools working for you, not against you.
Yeah, and there are ways to not just go by this estimate, but also there are several different checkpoints within Zillow that can increase that 80% to probably 90-95% accuracy. We won't get too much into it, but basically using the graph, right? Because you're not just relying on that Zestimate, but you're also checking the graph. You're checking difference between tax assessed value. You're able to do that on some of that on Zillow, right, and sort of say, all right, well, whatever Zillow says this estimate is, this is what it actually is, more in a more accurate way, because I'm taking more pieces of data that Zillow is providing. But the MLS,
Alex, just want to interrupt you in a second. So don't worry about the timing, because even once I jump off to go into a different video, you have as much time as you want. You'll continue going, live until you end the broadcast. So it's all up to you, and how the information you share and so on. So don't worry about the time. And also, we had a Michael J. Lerman asked us a question: what's the difference between ARV and the assessed value that you were kind of spoken to before I interrupted?
Yeah. So the tax assessed value is what the tax assessor's office believes. That's what they're basing what they're going to come up with the tax. What they're going to charge the taxes for that year, and it's not necessarily market value. They don't go into the MLS and say, all right, well, what a house is selling for, to come up with an after repair value. After repair value is what are homes actually selling for? And in this case, it's gonna. As we go down here, that question will be answered even better. And I'm going kind of quickly here because I know this is going to be recorded, and it'll be posted, so you'll have access to. I want to cover as much information as possible within a time frame that we have, and it's going to be recorded. So if you need to go back, you can and check, and you can always rewind. I think it'll be on YouTube. Nick said I think he's posted on YouTube and different places like that. So let's just get just a quick feel here for what we think the after repair value may be of the subject property. Again, this one kind of throws it off because of the size, right? And so if we look at the next one here, this one, okay, 1216 square footage, right? So much closer in size. It's a little bit smaller in lot size, and so we got $180 a square foot here. Now
we're looking at comps right now, right? That's what we're seeing. Yep. So comparables.
Yeah, comparables. These are all sold comps. The very first listing here is a subject property. Right here it is, right here, 1,248 square feet. And then we're just looking at the comparables, right? So this one was the first comparable. And this was kind of not too good of a comparable because it was so much smaller. But so we want to go on to the next one, right? Really quick, we go on to the next one. The next one is, all right, it's 1,216 square feet, very close in price. Ours was built in 1918, relatively older home. This was 1938. All right, so not, with about 20 years apart or so. Sold for $180 a square foot. Now we also want to check the pictures. We can't here, but in the MLS you'll be able to check the pictures and see. All right, well, was it outdated? And this one probably was a little bit outdated, not totally renovated. And in many cases, it'll say here the year renovated. Actually, you'll see in some of the ones below. Again, we're looking at 2017 tax assessed value, tax assessed year, and then total tax assessed value is $271. So it's sold for $51,000 below the tax assessed value for that year. Okay, so now we're looking at these two numbers: price per square foot and difference between tax assessed value. Right, and now this 180 is more of a number that I want to go by, that we want to apply to our subject property to come up with the ARV, because it's much closer in size. So if I only had these two comps, I'd go with a 180, right? Okay. Especially because our lot size is a little bit bigger. And then the only other thing, well, I'm not going to say the only thing, but there are very few other things that are going to throw off this price per square foot, and that's going to be garages, pools. Anything that really adds value to the property that isn't part of the structure itself, right? Even the garage is part of the structure, but it may not be part of the structure. So we want to check that. So, all right, so let's go down. We found a good comp. So right now, 180 square foot, if we're only using these two comps, that's what we have to go by. That's what we would apply to ours. So in this case, so far, if we take 180, I'm just going to take a calculator here. Take 180 times 1248. Okay, ours is 224. Okay, that would be our after repair value, 224,640. Call it 224. Right, they're asking 130. Not bad, but we don't want just one comp, right? We want more. So let's just verify. Let's see here. It could be higher, it could be lower. So the next comp, and there aren't that many more, but we want to. We're doing this pretty thoroughly. I mean, this is exactly what we would do to analyze it. Especially if we're rehabbing something and taking title to it, right? Okay, this one's 920 square feet, a little bit smaller, sold for $263 a square foot, built in 1995, rehabbed in 2016. And I think this property, we're analyzing, this is an old property we're analyzing, I think back in 2018 or so. So it was relatively, it was renovated, very close to the year that we were analyzing the property. So it was, so this is okay. So it's the after repair value is anywhere between 180 and 260. Now we want to see some consistency here. That's why we want to see a lot of listings. This one sold for $4 over the tax assessed value. Okay. Now the next one, 1010 square feet, lot size, not too far off. And this one sold for $260 a square foot. So this one sold for $263. Here's $261. Right, we're starting to see there's some consistency with that price per square foot. 263, 261, right, and that one was renovated. I think 2 years. The one prior was renovated 2 years before, and now the difference here. So this was sold for $5,000 under tax assessed value. The other one sold for $4,000 over. So it's telling us that the tax assessed value is relatively close to after repair value in this case. right, based on those two comps. So if we go on to the next comp, this one sold for 280 a square foot, 996 square feet. And so this bumps it up a little bit. So I would, be conservative, and just right now I'm thinking 260, right? So here's one for 261, here's 263. All of a sudden we see one for 280. Okay, so maybe it's a little bit higher. Let's see if there are any other comps. And so if we go down, here's 298. Now 298 is 1056 square feet. So it does bump it up. The lot size is approximately the same. It is a little bit newer, 1955, and it does have a one-car garage. So here I would just subtract the one-car garage, because if we don't have one, let's just say we don't have one on our subject property, I would just subtract, I 15 to 20,000. So let's call it 20,000 to be conservative. So I would shave off 20,000 off of this price, and then come up with the price per square foot. Then I can compare more so apples to apples, and it would be lower, right? It would be probably somewhere in the 280s range or so a square foot. And here's, this one sold for 11,000 below tax assessed value for that year. Okay, so let's see here. Here's 245. Now here's a house that's much closer in size. This is in terms of square footage. This is probably the closest one at 1344 square feet and on 0.22 acres. That is very close to what we have going, right? That's to our subject property. And this sold for $245 a square foot. And it's renovated in 2005. And the difference was $48,000 over tax assessed value. So far, this is the best comp. And if we only had these comps, which is the last comp, maybe, yes, the last comp, I would literally take this comp and I would say, all right, well, assuming that both houses don't, assuming that this house, this comparable, doesn't have a pool. If it has a pool, I would shave off $20,000 from this 330 and then recalculate the price per square foot sold, and then apply to the subject property. If this one had a garage, I would same thing. I would subtract $20,000. Sheds are about $2,500 or something. Decks can be $15,000, right? For a nice big deck in the back, and ours doesn't. Okay, I would shave off $15,000 from here. So if to come up with the ARV based on price per square foot, it could be one could argue that you could take $245 per price per square foot and scroll up to our subject property. So 245 times 1248, 305,760. Right. So in that case, we want to be conservative. And just, by the way, if you're wholesaling this property and you're sharing what you think the ARV is, and you came up with 305,760, just say 299. Just say between, because then what's going to happen is the investors are going to find, wait a second, I can probably get a little bit more than 290, 299 here. And they're going to like you for that, because you overpromised. I'm sorry, you underpromised and over-delivered rather than the other way around. You never want to bump it up and use, like we could have very easily used, for sure don't want to use $372 a square foot because the house is much smaller, right? And that was the closest comp. And so that's how to come up with the ARV based on that. You could also do an average, right? You could take an average of the three closest, let's say. So here's one for 263, and then the other one for 261, and then the last one was 245, and then just do an average of those numbers, and then apply that average price per square foot to the subject property, right? Then you should be in a pretty safe zone there.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
All right, and then the other way is, go ahead. You were going to ask something?
So we do have a few questions from the viewers. I want to ask this question now because it will get confusing later on.
Sure. Yeah.
And the reason for that is, so you mentioned 180, right? And somebody asked the question, so the home that was sold for 180K, is it 180K was sold for, or is it $180 per square foot you mentioned? So there might have been a miscommunication there. And was a fully rehabbed home. So the ones when you were going down, you saw 180. So that's 180 per square foot, correct?
Yeah, and I'm just, here it is right here. This is square foot. It's sold for
I'll put it up. All right, yep. So
yeah,
180
a square foot, and 1216, which is very close. So the thing is this, it more than likely, and you can actually check the pictures, we can't see here, but you can actually check the pictures and tell. But as long as I would go with the higher amount, because because over here the lot size is smaller than ours and the property is smaller than ours, right? So it actually sort of should have sold for more price per square foot compared to the other one, the last one that sold for whatever it was. I think it was here it is that sold for 245. Right, price per square foot wise, it should have sold for more. So that's automatically telling us that either one, it was not renovated, or secondly, it was renovated and they just undersold it. They sold it for less than what it could have sold for, which happens sometimes.
Right. So
Right.
Alex, you are showing us comparables, right? So properties that have sold within an X period of time, with a small range of radius within the property that you're trying to find comparables for. And we had a question here. Was the homes that you're comparing, they're fully rehabbed? Is that correct?
Well, hopefully we have fully renovated properties, and that's going to make analyzing it a lot easier, right? But at the end of the day, I'm just using it with the properties that are on the market or that have sold. I'm using the data that I have. So the question is, all right, well, what happens if none of these properties were renovated, right? In most cases, it's very rare that you're going to.
And you can also judge by the pictures, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going by the pictures, or you're going by the description, where some of them may say, like in this case here, renovated in 2000. Right. So even though it was built in 1940, it's renovated in 2000. Now, if we're in 2000 and let's just say right now we're in 2020, right? So everything's 10 years old, assuming they haven't, even though, right? So 10 years old is still relatively new. I mean, the roof is still at its half of this life expectancy. The HVAC system is, it's about 15, 16 years, but there's still life to it. So windows are rated at about 20 years. So the home is still in pretty good shape, and it may not be renovated. It may have not been renovated in last year, but you could still, it may have been done totally redone 10 years ago.
Right.
And still look fantastic.
Right.
But yeah.
So Alex, the second question goes to, now I'm reading off the subject is pretty much, the question is, and all these comps are similar in style, number of bedrooms, baths, etc. Like so the comps that you generated, right? The sheet that you're showing us, the pretty much the comps. What were the filters that you applied? What are the certain things that you looked for to generate those comps, those
yeah. Well, initially, that's a great question, and I don't necessarily. In the beginning, we like to kind of see everything. As you can see, we're looking at a 616 square foot home to get an idea of the whole market in that area, and then once we can fine tune it, like for example here, fine tune it meaning using number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and so. That last comp, which was pretty much the best comp, says, okay, it has 3 bedrooms, 1 full bathroom, and that's it. It's a 3-1, right? On 0.22, 1,348 square feet. We go back up to ours, and we're a 2-1, right? But the square footage is there. So I would just compare it as if it's a 3-bedroom, because I mean, to add a bedroom, unless there's a septic system there, right? Because if there's a septic system there, then because septic systems are rated by number of bedrooms.
Right.
So if has a septic system, then you'd want to include maybe another $10,000 to add that bedroom, because they would put an offshoot to the septic system. They would put an addition so that the septic system could accommodate a 3-bedroom house. But in this, if it's public sewer, literally, I mean, it's going to cost what, $4,000 to put up, 2 walls maybe. So I would literally just keep the price of square foot the same, even though this is a 2-bedroom house. I wouldn't reduce it by too much, or if anything at all. Okay. Now, if the that best comp down there had another full bathroom, right, then maybe shave off $10,000 off of this price right here. Maybe we would. Right, to make it so we're comparing apples to apples.
Makes sense. Alex, I'm gonna jump off to another video. I'm gonna take myself out of this video, but you can continuously go, and I'll jump back in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the shared screen, so you can continue to share the screen and talk more about your presentation today. So I'm gonna jump off real quick, but you continue doing your thing, brother. So far, so good.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. All right, so we'll keep going here. Let me sort of make sure. Let's see, you got any other questions? And all these comps are similar in style, but okay, right. So as far as style, ideally we want them to be the same style. Over here we have this comp that we saw as being the best comp. It's a ranch home, and ours is, I guess it's a bungalow, right? So, or it says it's a raised ranch. It's a raised ranch, so relatively close in style, right? Stylistically. Now, what happens if, to your point, what happens if the subject property was a two-family, or I'm sorry, two-level, two-story colonial, right? Still, yet still, the style, I don't believe, it doesn't really affect the ARV that much, unless it's an area that has a lot of colonials, and in that case, there would be more data. But the style doesn't really throw it off that much because price per square foot is still price per square foot, right? We're looking at value regardless of style. So if we had another comparable here that was a colonial or a different style home, then it would change the price a little bit, and we can then just recalculate the data, right, based on the difference between price per square foot and also difference between what it's sold above or below the total tax assessed value, and that's how we can adjust for it. Okay, let's see. So I just want to make sure. Were there any other questions? Okay, so we're going to keep moving right along. So that's how. Now, all this information, we can pretty much agree that this is not rocket science, right? This is arithmetic, and that we can teach this to a virtual assistant. And by the way, they're very smart people. I mean, you can hire a PhD in different parts of the world, like the Philippines and India and some of these other places, Turkey, for like $5 an hour, and we certainly don't need a PhD, someone with a PhD. So that's where we can go ahead and find somebody on Upwork for a little bit less than that. So I just want to see here, just want to make sure I'm covering our topic here. Okay, so you can come up with the after repair values. Okay, we did that. And rehab costs. Okay, coming up with rehab costs quickly. So to do that, I'll share some info right now. So for example, let's look at our subject property. There isn't really a whole lot to renovating a house. The windows, we usually factor in, it's $150 per window to install. And then the cost of a window is normally about $200. So $350, you can pad it up to $400 per window. And that pretty much, and then just count how many windows, right? So $400 includes the materials and installation. Painting, we factor in anywhere from $400 to $500 per room. So a bedroom's a room, a bathroom's a room, kitchen's a room, living room's a room, hallways are a room. And then just count them. You might have 10. You have 10 rooms times 400 is 4,000 for the paint. The siding, you can factor in. I mean, you could even say $10,000 for every 1,000 square feet is pretty good if you can get pricing like that. Price per square foot on flooring. If I'm going to figure out the flooring here, I'd round up to $1,300. Actually, or I'm sorry, 1,300 square feet. You actually want to add about a 10% overage. So 1,300 times 1.1 is 1,430 square feet. I just round up 1,500 square feet. And then if you go into Home Depot, you can find carpet in stock for like $1 a square foot. The padding is 50 cents a square foot, so it's $1.50. And then you figure $1 to it's about $1 to install. So you're looking at about just say $3 a square foot for carpet. So you to redo the whole flooring in this house. So $3 times 1,500 square feet, $4,500 for the flooring. A furnace you can replace for about $6,000. An AC condenser you can replace for about $3,000 to $4,000. What else is there? What else did I not cover? Kitchen. A kitchen you can do normally a kitchen for a home that's under 2,000 square feet 2,500 square feet, let's say, you could do it for about $12,000. That's everything. That's, that's countertops, that's cabinets, backsplash, flooring, appliances, and then all the hardware too. About $12,000. You could even, if you want to pad it, if you're in a nicer area, maybe figure in $15,000 because maybe you want to put a wine cooler or something, or a couple of the things that are extra that would increase the price on that. But anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000 is your cost of doing a kitchen, a bathroom. You figure anywhere between, full bathroom is about $6,000 to $7,000, and half bathroom. It depends on an existing. We're talking about existing, right? We're talking about a retrofit, which means you're replacing the existing full bathroom. And I know for some of you are thinking, oh, that number is high, or that number is a little bit low. You can shop around. You can get contractors that are going to know, but most people aren't going to find there is an exact number to do a bathroom. I'm just giving you a safe number where you should be able to find somebody to do the full bathroom, gut reno bathroom for $7,000 for a full bathroom. And maybe 2,500 for a half bathroom. So that covers that. So we've got, and then you figure just probably about another $5,000 for going to replace all the doors inside, all the interior doors. They come with the trim and everything, so about $5,000 for that. You figure another $3,000 for hardware. We're talking vent covers, door handles, wiring for inside the closets, closet doors. Well, the closet doors were included in the doors, and that pretty much gives us a fully renovated home. I don't know if I missed anything. Did I miss anything? Feel free to comment if I missed something. The roof, I don't know if we covered the roof. I don't think we did. So a roof for 1,000 square foot home to rip down the shingles all the way down to the plywood. For 1,000 square foot home, you could do it for $6,000 for every thousand square feet of roof. So roofing. So if you got 2,000 square feet, just double that number. All right. So and you can come up with this price list, right? Write it down, and then you can have the virtual assistant look at the subject property, and they can go through the pictures and, oh, there's a kitchen outdated. Well, sure, right? So they're adding up all the repair costs. So not only can they come up, because you can teach this as you're now learning some of this, and some of this you may already know. You can very well teach it just like I'm sharing it with you virtually, right? We're not even together virtually. You can share it with a virtual assistant. By the way, when I mentioned VA, we're talking about a virtual assistant, somebody that you can find on Upwork, on Upwork.com, right? And this is where you can find talent. You can find people that do data entry. If you want data, this is considered data entry, and you can find somebody for about about $1.50 an hour to do data entry. If you want them to do more involved work, then obviously just expect to pay a little bit more for that. And so over here, what you can do is jobs. You just post a job, and you'll be surprised how many people will apply. A lot of people from all over the world, and you can post exactly how much you want to pay per hour, and that sort of thing. And then you could just, what I like to do is if I'm hiring if I only want to hire one person for one position, what I do is I like to hire like 10 people at once, and then let's say it's for data entry. And then what you could do is just have them go into like Zillow or something and say, all right, I want you to go into my county, right? Show them how to go into your county. All right, let's just say you're whatever county it is that you're in, and then say, all right, I want you to copy the price, copy the address, copy the price, copy the square footage, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and then upload all that data into an Excel file. And then at the end of the day, at an 8-hour period, you can see how many results they produced. And if you're hiring 10, you may have the average results produced of data entry is going to be, say, 500 or 600. Some of them are only going to produce 250. Well, you know that the ones that did the 250 aren't really. Let me take a drink of water. they're not really into it, right? And then you'll find a rock star that'll do 1,200, and then obviously that rock star you want to keep, right? And so you'll find a couple rock stars that way by hiring a lot of people very quickly, and then you're hiring them on a trial basis, and then keeping the best one or two or however many you need. All right. Any questions? Let me check. Not yet. Roof. Okay, we went over the roof. And okay, so let's talk about once you have.
I am back, Alex.
Awesome. Cool.
All
All right.
Questions, so don't worry about the questions part. Just focus on your thing, brother. Do your thing.
All right. Yeah, we were just going over repairs, coming up with how to do repairs or estimate repairs, right?
Oh, awesome.
And so now what we're going to do is, because now that we have all that, right, we have the after repair value and we have the repair amount, we want to submit the offer, right? Because we're able to come up with what's called the MAO, right? And maximum allowable offer. So what we want to do is, let's just say, for example, and we'll take it from the top here. So let's say that we figured out that the house is worth $200,000 as after repaired. Then it depends on how high we want to go on the loan to value basis. So if we want to go up to 65% LTV, which is a good place to start in most places, we in the calculator we hit 200 times 0.65 gives us $130,000. If our repairs add up to $50,000, I'm not saying they're going to, but we're just using round numbers here. Then we subtract 50,000 from the 130, and we get $80,000. That's our offer. That's what we can offer for the property, and more than likely do well with it, right? So all other factors being equal. And so now we want to make that offer. How do we submit that offer? Does anybody want to know how to submit offers that get accepted? We got an $80,000 offer. Right? How do we make our offer a rock star offer where the listing agent is like, wow, this is an offer, right?
You mean business.
And because you'll be surprised, not a lot of people do this. And if you just take the time to do it, by the way, you could take the time to do this at first, but then you could show a virtual assistant how to do this. So you're not doing the analyzing. Right. You're not making the offers. You're literally, once the virtual assistant submits the offer, if I'm submitting the offer for myself on a property I want to bid on, I want to take title to, I don't even want to hear about it unless there's a counter or an acceptance. Because a lot of them are going to get rejected. I don't want to hear rejections all day.
Yep.
Neither do you, right? I'm just trying so that you don't have to hear rejections all day. You just want counters and you want acceptances. So here's how to put together a really solid offer. Okay, so here's a subject line. This is an example of an offer that we submitted not long ago, actually, June 30th. So cash non-contingent offer on subject property address. All right. This is to the listing agent. Hi, Monica. Hope all is well. I'm starting off with the good vibes, right? I hope all is well, right? Goodwill, right? And then over here, this is a non-contingent offer, non-contingent cash offer on subject property. I'm repeating it, right? Non-contingent cash, non-contingent cash. Buyer's name, buyer's address, $31,000 cash, $1,000. The EMD stands for earnest money deposit. Okay, as is with no inspection contingencies. They love that. Able to close in 21 business days or less. They like that as well. Now, there's a couple things here that's going to make this offer already better than most offers that come in. Many cash offers will say 30 days. Well, I'm saying 21 or less, so it could be 7 days, right? Normally, we just need clear title to come in, which takes 3 to 5 days or so in most cases. But we like to put 21 days because in the event that we use hard money, which can be considered cash, we want to give them sufficient time to analyze the deal and then give us a commitment, a loan commitment. And so the other thing here is the no inspection contingencies, right? And so how do we protect ourselves here, right, against any unforeseen things? Well, for one, what I like to do is the inspections. I like to do them during attorney review period, right? Because it's very standard to keep an attorney review period. In fact, an attorney review period, if the contract doesn't state that there is an attorney review period, in New Jersey, there automatically is one. And it's very rare, actually, for the attorney review periods to be removed. Very rare. So I use the attorney review period, which is 3 days, and in some cases, actually 5 days, because it's only business days, and we might buy ourselves the weekend, depending on when we sign the contract. So I literally have 3 to 5 days to do any inspections that I want to do. And really, tank sweep is a must. Definitely got to get a tank sweep. So I got to get a tank sweep company that's going to be on the ball, that's going to get to us, going to get us the result quickly. Termite inspection is good to have as well, because that's one of those things that sometimes you can't just see just from walking around the property. Again, this is only after, these inspections only happen after the offer gets accepted, not before. We're literally submitting this property, in most cases, sight unseen. So removing any inspection contingency, most buyers will put 10 to 14 days here. When we're putting 0, none, all right, we're already a more attractive offer if all other aspects are equal, as such as the price, the earnest money deposit. It's like, if you had an offer, if you're the seller, if you had an offer with no contingencies or inspection contingencies, and one with 10 days and the same price, who are you going with?
Right.
The other thing is we want to attach everything. This is what's going to make it really impressive. We want to attach 6 to 8 things. These are all the attachments. Have you ever seen an offer with this many attachments?
Wow, that is impressive.
Now, what's here? The proof of funds letter, the certificate of formation for the LLC. There's an IRS doc that has your EIN number, because they need your EIN number, right? And I don't think it's actually in the certificate of formation. But if you include this, just include it anyway, right?
Right.
IRS formation form with EIN number. It's so official, right?
You can literally take this email to the closing table pretty much at this point.
You could, what's that?
You can pretty much take this to the closing table at this point.
Yeah. You got everything. You got a lot here. There's so much here. The operating agreement for the LLC. If you don't have one, I would form one. It's worth it. It's not much at all, and it's worth it. The second thing is a full purchase contract, not a 1-page offer to purchase. A full contract signed with the closing date, everything on there. The other one is going to be any docs that the listing agent uploads that they want you to sign. This is one of them. So normally we only have, this is a checklist that was provided by the listing agent, but in most cases it doesn't have one. And that's fine. You don't necessarily need that. But if the listing agent has one, please do fill it out, because they don't want to, you don't want to submit everything and then have them come back to you and say, all right, well, can you please send me the, you're supposed to know that to do that in the first place. We really want to impress the listing agent with this offer, because in some cases they're the gatekeepers, right? And the other thing is the seller's disclosure. We'll open this up. This is seller's disclosures, right? And it's signed. Here it is. I've already signed it, right? And they're not going to come back to me and ask for any of this stuff. I've literally, on multiple occasions, I've had listing agents say, wow, I've never seen an offer this complete, right? And here's the disclosure, the lead-based paint disclosure. Me as a buyer, right? I'm the buyer here in this case, signed. Everything is signed. Here's the contract. Where's the contract? Here's the contract. Signed contract. Signed and dated. Completely filled out. But by the way, I think there's a space for, and one of the reasons I got licensed is because I can represent. All I need to do, and you can too, when you're making offers for yourself, is put your name right here as the buyer's agent. And guess what? You're going to get half the commission that the seller's offering. That's it, right? And if for no other reason, get licensed for that, right? And here it is right here. Here's the, in fact, we should have actually put the listing. This is not totally complete. We should have wrote in their information here, but basically we're leaving, this is the only thing that they need to fill out. And we actually could have done that. Maybe we don't have their license ID here, but in any event, it's already pretty tight, but that would tighten it up even more. If you wrote their name in here for them, their address for them, right? Makes it really nice. So that's a full contract. All right. What else is there? Okay, so this is a simple, right? Bullet points, easy to read. You're telling them what's attached, and then you're attaching it. thank you in advance for your timely response. Basically, it gets them. They're going to respond. The chances of them responding quickly increase if you're already thanking them in advance for it, right? So these are some things that we like to do to tighten up the offer. Is this helpful to everybody? Is this good? Comment yes. Comment yes if this is helpful. By the way, please if you like this information, please comment here, share it. And if you feel it's beneficial to somebody, you can actually tag somebody. I think you share it. I don't know if you can tag, but share it with somebody who you think will find this information valuable. If you're finding it valuable for yourself as well. And by the way, when you share information like this, you may say, well, you know what? I'm going to hoard this information for myself. I don't want to create competitions in the market, but you may actually, when you share information like this, we're talking content, right? With others that would be interested in content like this, you now are providing value to them, and they're going to be very grateful that you're finding key information, right? And this isn't information that's, I think most people don't go into this detail with some of these things. In fact, I mean, I've bought several courses, and not all of them have provided such an in-depth way of submitting an offer. Close, and I'm not saying this is the most
this works for you.
Impressive way to submit an offer, but I think you'll beat out probably 99% of the competition out there doing it this way.
There you go.
And so I did say that I would. So now you have how to analyze a property, come up with the ARV, come up with the repair amount, and then how to make the offer. Now the key is to make a lot of offers, right?
The number game.
Yeah, make a lot of offers, and you can now. How do you do that? How do you make? By the way, I went to. I met one of. This is probably 8-9 years ago. I met one of my mentors, and I told him, you know what? This is actually no. This is further back than that. This was, Nick popped in. This is further back than that because I asked him. I said, look, I'm doing some deals, but how do I do more deals? And the first thing he asked me is, how many offers did you submit yesterday? And I said, like 3 or 4. He said, tomorrow I'll make 100 offers. Well, what is that? And you do it consistently. So what does that mean? I think we're talking 500 offers a week, right? 500. That's 2,000 offers a month, right? And if you do that, you're going to get some consistency. If you're doing in closed deals, right? Checks coming in, there's going to be some consistency there. And then and by the way, to do this is all it's practically free when you're hiring somebody for $1.50 an hour, $2 or $3. There's that cost, but it's minimal for the number of offers that you can make. All right, the cost is very minimal. Now you can do some marketing and other things to have sellers call you, and then you can make offers that way. And once you start generating some dollars, you do want to do that to do more. If you want to do that, right? That's certainly marketing is key. But this is in a way marketing. And
it's a numbers game at the end of the day.
It's a numbers game. Now, here's the thing. For example, like if you go on to holderflip.com, let me see if I can pull up an example of what it would look like. Okay, so these are, for example, this was yesterday. I sent out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properties. Let's take a look at one of them, for example. Okay. Here's a 2,600 square foot house for 105. If we come up with the $100 a square foot ARV, this is a 260 home. Now, in most cases, the house doesn't normally go below $80 a square foot. So 2616, let's go super conservative. I'm not saying that this is the ARV. By the way, this is what it looks like so far, and we're improving on it. We provide the address, the asking price, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and then if you click here, it's going to take you to the MLS. Literally, here's the MLS, and here's their contact information again. And so if you want to see the property, if you have a question about it, or if you want to make an offer, just call here, and it will then you'll just leave your name, your phone number, and the property of interest. And one of the agents in this county will call you to answer your questions. We have an agent on our team that will call you and answer any questions that you have about this property, or they'll schedule a showing appointment. Now, this is just sort of a very brief overview. And if you want to find out more information, you click on the address. It gives you the year built, square footage, lot size, and it gives you here the entire MLS, all the information here for it.
So going back to MLS, how powerful it is because MLS shows you all the details.
Exactly. Now, just as an example, and by the way, we also provide the comps. Wait a second, which way did it go? There it is. We provide the comps. So we've already had somebody go into the MLS and pull up the quarter mile, half mile radius of everything that's sold or was pending, right? So when you're on our buyers list, when you join for free at holderflip.com, this is what you get. We do all of the legwork for you. And here they are in price in descending order. Here's the highest price first, right? So here's one, right? Now you can look at it. This is everything that's it's either sold or pending. This is everything. And this is plenty of data to come up with an ARV.
So Alex, when you put something on the contract, right, when you want to wholesale, it looks like you don't only off market to your buyers, but you also put it on MLS. You make it public. You make it for everybody to see it. Is that correct?
Well, I do both, right? So sometimes I'll have, and I was mostly seeing all these properties, right? Like for example, these 8 properties that, and by the way, to come up with these 8 properties, this is out of thousands. This is the top 8 out of thousands.
Got it.
Where the asking price is already attractive. Now, in some cases, the asking price will be too low, and we'll want to go above asking price. And in some cases, the asking price is perfect. In most cases, right? All to be totally transparent, in most cases, the asking price is going to be a little bit higher than what we want to pay for it. But like, look at this house. It's 2,400 square feet. They're asking $44,900. Now, depending on how much work it needs, but it may be that full asking price already works. Now, let's not take this property because in this case, it probably would already work, right? You could probably offer $44,900 and it would work. And in this case, by the way, here's a trick to helping the chances of you getting it accepted, right? Where'd it go? So if you're asking, here it is right here. So if they're asking $44,900 and that works, but you don't want to go too much over because your Mayo is maybe $44,900, you can offer 45,300, because somebody might say, oh, I'll just offer 45. Somebody might say I'll offer 45,1. And then somebody might say 45,2. So I like to bump it up by $300.
Interesting.
Above the 45, because 45.3 is essentially the same thing as 44,900. Right. But if he gets 10 offers at full asking price, if you ever want to offer full asking price, don't offer full asking price. Go above, even if it's $300, right? Because if a really good deal will get full asking offers very consistently. And so this is a way to slightly beat it. And if you have more wiggle room, and you can go up to, in some cases, you'll have to go 55,000, go 10,000 over asking price if the property merits a $55,000 or offer, meaning a $10,000 bump from the asking price. All right. Now, in most cases, it's going to be like, for example, let's see this property. Let's say, for example, that our maximum allowable offer is 60. I always share this with buyers. I say, if your maximum allowable offer is 60 and you took the time, if you've invested more than 10 minutes analyzing a property, just submit the offer. Make an offer, right? I don't care if it's $50,000 and they're asking 80, because, by the way, I have offered, I'll give you some examples of some numbers here. There was a property, they were asking $76,000. I offered 20. They didn't counter, they just accepted it.
Wow.
I offered there was a house in Williamstown. They were asking $100,000. I offered 50. They accepted it. I offered on 100, my very first deal. They were asking 125,000. I offered 62.5. I offered half. They didn't even counter. they accepted. In fact, I was like, wait a second, I should have offered less.
Yeah.
Right? Should have offered less on this thing. So if you take any property that you, by the way, all the properties that I send over, not all, but
Right.
most warrant an offer, because at the end of the day, people say,
The
whenever I
worst
ask,
thing that happens is you get a no. Simple
what's
as
that?
that. The worst thing that can happen is you get a no.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. And I always share this. I say, because a lot of times I've heard, more objections to making an offer than probably most. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The thing
Alex,
is,
just
there are a lot of objections, but the objection is in all other factors being equal, meaning that meaning that unless there's like, you find out there's like a nuclear plant right next door to the house, or if you find something that's extremely unusual. Most houses don't have anything that's that unusual about it. It's not that the house needs too much work, or meaning like and the roof is leaking or the HVAC. It's the number, it's the price that you're buying it for, because it's like, well, what if the seller paid for whatever it is that you don't want to do? Right, don't want to pay for. Would the deal with them work for you? And they're like, oh yeah, well yeah, I have to. So the deal is paying for everything anyway, right? Because I say, look, if you can, I don't make an offer. Okay, well, if you could buy this house for $2,000, would you buy it?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure. So it really, the number, what you offer for it trumps everything else.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, I mean, and I'm going to share this quick story with you, just so it encourages you to make offers. And then I'll end with that contingency clause that you can put into your contracts, where you're dealing direct with the seller. That basically removes just about any risk that you would have in moving forward, and gives you the confidence to make an offer. And that's the purpose of this story too. So I once hired one virtual assistant, and I taught him how to make an offer on Zillow. Now, these offers were not as tight as the offers we're talking about here. I was literally, there's every listing has a box where you can contact the listing agent, right? Ask for your name, your info, and you can make some notes. And so I just made an offer that way. Say, hey, I'm a cash buyer. I'm interested in purchasing this property. No contingencies. My offer is X. And I taught a VA how to do that. And then I asked the VA to hire 16 other virtual assistants to do the same thing. Well, now I had 17 agents, VAs, making offers every day. And I said, all right, I want you to make an offer on every single house on Zillow that's in New Jersey. At the time, I don't remember what the other numbers were, but there were 86,000 houses on Zillow for sale. And 2 weeks later, the one VA, the managing VA who I taught, she said, sir, we just made an offer on every single house. Would you like us to start over again? Right? We made 86,000 offers in 14 days.
Wow.
Now, we did get a few deals from that, but since then we've improved the process to where, every agent who had a house listed on Zillow knew my name. They knew who I was, but some of them have a negative association because their home in Homedale or whatever it was, they're asking 600, is worth 600. Here I am offering 300, right? So what we've done is we've now our algorithm includes having properties that are already showing some signs of motivation. So we're not making offers on everything. We're making offers on properties. In fact, we don't really make the offers that much anymore anyway. Now I just find those top deals and I send them to you, and then you can make the offer.
So, Alex, do you feel like you ruined your name, or maybe even uplifted your name by doing that and getting your name across by offering so many?
I think if I had continued to do that for years, it would not have gone well with other listing agents, to say the least, right? But it was an experiment.
For newbies, would you suggest doing that for newbies?
No, I wouldn't suggest doing that. I'm just sharing that with you as a story where I definitely don't do that, right? But I just want to give you the courage to submit a lot of offers. And so here's the clause. Ready for the clause? So this is a contingency clause. It's the best I've ever heard. If you have a better one, please share it. I'm all ears. I'm still a sponge. I try to learn from everybody. You know? So if you have a contract with the seller, that if you when you're making an offer with a contract with the seller, and it's a private seller, you can add this. In some cases, you can add this with a bank-owned property, but very rarely. In most cases, the bank sends you the contract, and you can't make any changes to it, right? But again, if you're working with the seller direct, you can say just add into your contract that this contract is contingent upon the buyer's inspection and approval of the property prior to the transfer of title.
Interesting.
Right?
Right.
Not 10 days inspection period, not 14 days prior to the transfer of title. That means I can be sitting at the closing table and be like, you know what? I don't really like the way that the whatever.
Any reason is a good reason not for
The gutter is hanging off.
Right.
Whatever. I don't love the paint's chipping on the door. Now, granted, I want to be able to have that ability.
Right.
But yet I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it because obviously I want to buy the property. I'm not going to make money if I use it. I'm out of the deal. I'm not going to make money with that deal. So I don't want to use it, but it's nice to have, you know, just in case. And in many cases, you can make the deposit would be refundable based on, you know, assuming that you needed to ever use it.
Exactly. And Alex, I actually want to confirm and you know, what you just said about the offers is true. For example, right now I'm under contract for a property. It was listed for $375. I have it under contract for $250. Right. That's $125,000 difference. So it is possible. It is true. You know, it all comes down to days on market, you know, how motivated they are and so on. So I definitely agree with you, Alex. It is, you know, don't be afraid. Right. Take action. Take massive action. Be persistent. That's really what the key is.
Right.
So those who try win.
Absolutely. And I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions so far? And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to wherever you see it. If you don't have the opportunity, if you're seeing this after the live and you're seeing the recording of this, feel free to post a question onto the wherever you see it. Maybe it's YouTube. Feel free to share it, like, share, comment, please. It'll be helpful for you as well. You'll seem like an expert. You know, you're sharing valuable information, and it'll help whoever's receiving the information.
Well
really appreciate it. So thank you for taking the time.
Once again, how do we get in contact with you?
Yes, please visit holderflip.com right here. And this will add you to our cash buyers list. So you'll see the properties that we're sending over, discounted properties. And right now we're sending them across the whole southern half of the state, basically from Trenton southward. And we're going to be adding the entire northern half of the state over the next 2-3 weeks. Awesome. So relatively a short period of time, you're going to see, you know, right now, instead of seeing maybe 5 to 10 new properties come through that are wholesale already or very close to it, you'll be that number should double over the next couple of weeks.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you for sharing. I see Ronald just posted a great presentation, Alex. Thank you. So people are definitely seeing positive things, you know, from your video. They're learning. You dropped some great gems, great information. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming out. And again, it's a great, you know, opportunity to be able to connect with you, right? Because you're letting people connect with you. If they have questions, you know, are you an agent yourself?
I am. By the way, you can look me up on Facebook. You know, feel free to friend request me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Alex Kennedy. I don't think it's Alexander Kennedy, but you can Google search me. Yeah, if you really want to connect with me, which, by the way, I'm growing. Our team is growing. So whether you're an agent or you're an investor and you want to connect and you want to do business as well, feel free to look me up. You know, I try to make myself not too accessible, because if somebody takes the time to really find me, that's usually they're serious. You know, so. Right. But you know, I just said Facebook, so that's easy enough, isn't it?
So awesome. And Alex, if somebody's a new-time buyer and they want a buyer's agent, would you be you know, happy to do that for them? It seems like you know how to negotiate, so there would be probably some buyers out there that would love to, you know, have you as their buyer's agent. Is that a possibility?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Because we have a whole team. You know, we've got, and the reason we're taking a little bit of time to capture all of North Jersey in terms of the deals is because they're listed deals, right? And some people will say, well, I just want off-market deals. Well, here's the thing: it's not whether it's off-market or on-market, doesn't really matter. is what you buy it for, right? Because if you can buy a house for $70,000 and it's off market, all of a sudden I bring you the neighbor's house, exact condition for 60, for sale for 60. Which one do you want?
Right.
Right. And so, and just like in the example where the asking a property we send over that's listed may be asking $80,000. The second you offer 50, you just created an off-market deal.
Right.
That's how we get often we make a property off market by getting it for 50. You want to wholesale it for 59 or 69, that's say 69,000. That's
Right.
now an off market deal. It's on the market for 80. Right now it's pending for 50 and you're wholesaling it for 69.
Right.
Off market deals, so to speak.
Yeah.
So so that's
a good point. Good point of view. Thank you. Thanks again for sharing that. And yeah, so if anybody wants to reach out to Alex Kennedy, please do. He seems like a guy who would love to get to know you and share some knowledge, whatever he has. And then yeah, so again, Don just said thank you. So Alex, you're definitely doing some great work here. Really appreciate for your time. And again, guys, reach out to him. Make sure that you connect either one way or the other and get onto his buyers list. Holdorflip.com is definitely something you guys want to check out and move forward to. And yeah, take massive action. Before we go, is there any, for the newbies, if there was one suggestion to take away from today's event, what would it be for they can share with them?
I would say find out how to limit the risks involved, reduce the risks involved, and then take massive action.
There you go about that.
Take massive action, and then not only take massive action, then hire people as fast as possible, right? Try to eliminate yourself from the business as much as possible. And that's one of the reasons that not only do I like the investor side of the business, but I also have the brokerage side of things, right? But as an agent,
right,
it's even more scalable and it's easier to replace myself. So just to give you an idea, I didn't know this, but you can actually, when I was an investor for 8-9 years before I got my license because I thought, well, I don't want to go around showing houses. I don't want to quote unquote be an agent. But
right.
then I realized you can play broker from day one. Day one you can play because it's kind of cool to be a broker, right? You have agents out there doing agent activity, showing houses, getting listing contracts, and the brokers, they're getting paid, but they're not physically involved. They're not doing paperwork. They're not doing contracts. They're not showing houses. They're not doing listing appointments. Right. So if you connect with me, I can show you how you can do that from day one.
Awesome.
You don't have to wait, you're not going to be a broker, but you can play broker by creating opportunity for others. And if you're a selfless person, you're willing to share because it's better. Some people say, well, I want to make 100% of the commission. I say, well, what would you rather have? 25% of a watermelon or 100% of a grape?
Right. Better yet, 20% of something or 100% of nothing, right?
Yeah.
So exactly. End of the day, if nobody closes, nobody's winning.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, awesome, Alex. Thank you for your time. And again, guys, reach out to him. Make sure you connect with him and stay tuned. There will be more from Alex Kennedy. And thanks again, brother. Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Be good, guys.